Today we are going to discuss PowerAutomate desktop variables, how to create loops and all these things. So I'm not delaying on that. Let me share my screen. You can see here there is one. I have already created a flow variable. So you can see here, because already we explained how to create a variable in my previous demo, but here we will see extensively what are the different kind of features are there in variables. I clicked on edit, let this load. So you can see what exactly I'm doing different kind of operation using the variable. I can use set variable. In this example I created different operation. You can search in the action panel here, set variable. I use this set variable. Okay, set user ID is something I'm setting here. Okay, if let's say I want to increase the variable, okay, user ID by 1, so you can use, again it is another action, increase variable. You can use increase variable. Display message we already saw in my earlier demo, how to add display message. Then generate random number, this is also one of the action is there. We can generate, sometimes we need to generate, right, the automated number, random number, so that directly we can use this action, generate random number. Let me run this. If you see here, it set the variable, increase the variable, and then you can see it increased by 1 to 0 0 1 2 1 to 2, it upgraded. Okay, then random number it generated also using this generate random number. So we understand there are different kind of variables and you can play around with a lot of options. There are different options are there. If you go for variables, you can see set window variable, set get window variable, delete window variable, increase variable we saw, decrease variable also you can try. So this is how is all about playing with the variables. Okay, so after the variable there is one more option, conditions. So what are the conditions? Here I just want to show you, I added the conditions also. You can see here what exactly I am doing. I am setting a variable first. Okay, then I am displaying input dialog. Okay, set variable, let's say set mark I am setting to null. Display input dialog with message mark, and store the input into user input. Okay, let's say I am taking mark from the user. Okay, so what is the logic I want to implement here? Let's say if mark is greater than 500, then display that it is a distinction mark. You got the distinction. And if it is greater than 300, and you got the excellent. Okay, let's say if you accept all others, I'm making it as failed. Okay, just to show how exactly to work with different conditions, if else. So here setting the variable, I use the set variable. You can get it here, set variable. This one we saw number of times. Set variable is the variable, a set variable is the action. Then next is display input dialog. Display input dialog also here, so that it will take display input dialog. This is the display, then set variable, I'm setting the variable, then display message. Okay, then if mark is greater than this, I'm adding this if condition. You can see there are lot of if conditions are there. You can play around with lot of things, but I'm using only if now, if and else if. Okay, so you can see if I pull here, if what are the things are there. If first operand is mark, here I'm taking mark operator, I'm taking the operator. Let's say there are different kind of operators are there, I'm taking greater than. Okay, second operand I'm putting something 500. Again, if you want to do it dynamically, yes, you can do it dynamically as well. Okay, so then display message we already saw how to create a display message. You just add a display message function, a display message action, then else if, then what exactly else if condition is specifying greater than or equal to this. So enter the mark of the student. I put it mark actually null, so that's why it is showing null on top. Display input message, let's say I'm putting 400. Okay, it is showing mark is 400. Fine. You can see it went through this. Student qualified as excellent securing mark 400. Okay, so this is why it's all about. We saw how and all the flow variables information it captured here. Okay, if you want to see, you can see, and you can rename also variable. You can double click, you can double click and rename here. Okay, you can see here there is an option rename. You can rename the variables also. Button press, it's not looking good, right? If you want, you can rename also. So then next, run another time. Let's say I put something 600. Showing display this distinction mark. Perfect, it worked, right? So next, let me put something. I want to show all three scenario. Let me put something 299.5. Okay, you can see student it failed. Okay, so this is how it helps us to play with conditions. Okay, you can play with all other features, if folder, file and all these things, if process, if service, if image, if window, different options are there. You can use that. Okay, so we saw how the conditions work. Next is we will see how the loop is working. Let me open the loop. Okay, so in loop also, again you can see I used here loop action. Set variable, initially I am setting the variable. I use the loop action here. Loop action, you can see loop and loop condition. Okay, loop and loop condition, then exit loop and next loop. So how exactly, what is the difference between loop and loop condition, we will see. Let's say first what is happening, loop has, we have to start with a counter. Let's say this is the my set variable, this is first variable, then end at what, I'm ending at 3, increment, I have specified increment by 1. Okay, it's variability produced loop index. Okay, so set variable, then I'm increasing the counter, then I'm displaying the message. Okay, I'm ending after that. Then loop condition, it's kind of do while kind of, I'm putting this operator less than or something, second operand is 6. So this is how it works. So let me run this. I want to show each execution, that's why first round completed, first message is displayed, and if you see here counter is 2, loop index is 1, okay, counter, earlier counter was 1, now 1 plus 1 2, and loop index is 1. Okay, it went for next, loop index is 2, counter is 3. Okay, button press event is okay, loop index is 3, counter is 4, and button press is okay, fine. So we understand how exactly 3 round of loop it went through. Then next, it will definitely move to next. You can see it moved to this. Loop index is here, there is no loop index concept. You see here there is no loop index because loop index is variable for the loop, and here it will only counter increased 5. Okay, now second this, okay, it will perform 3 times, yes, because 3 6, when it is 7 it moved out. Okay, so this is how is all about loop feature. You can play around with next loop and exit loop. So that's all for today. Thank you.